Hey, here's Steve Morris Engines. I'm Steve Morris. This is an engine that we just got done doing a conversion for Jamal Eberhardt out of Florida. This is actually something pretty different for us. But what this thing's going in is a dunk, with 24. I don't even know what size tire wheel on it, to tell you the truth. Gonna be something pretty different and something pretty wicked for that type of car that's in there, because I see that those guys are doing a lot of racing now, and so we got people contacting us about that stuff. So this was a nitrous motor that he sent up for us to convert. Now it's 632 cubic inch, and we wanted to use as much of his parts and try to make things as economically feasible for him as possible. To reuse stuff that was good. Might not be our #1 choice, because typically I wouldn't build this quite that big either. But that's what he had, and that's all cool. We can make this all work, and the horsepower level that he wants to make, that all works well. So that's what we did. So this has our piston and rod combination. Our camshaft, of course. We go through the cylinder head. We convert this over from carburetor to EFI. This one has Holley EFI on it. Let's see here, with all the normal stuff, and then what we did is, of course, turbos. And so this has our 83 millimeter. This is the Steve Morris Edition 83 millimeters in twins. Water to air intercooled here, but we're actually kind of maintaining it because we might go back and forth in between this and an air to air intercooler. So I'm not after maximum cooling. It's just I don't have a big enough air to air intercooler for dynoing. And we're not going to make something specific for that just as of yet. But anyway, so we're doing water air intercooled twin 83s. And what we wanted to do is, because this is being driven all the time too, we don't want it lazy, so we're trying not to make, well, honestly, we're trying not to make 3,000 horsepower. This engine isn't designed to make 3,000 horsepower. So we don't have 3,000 horsepower worth of turbos on it. And this is a conventional headed Pro 1 dart on it. I mean, it's good stuff. It's a nice piece, and it makes really good horsepower. And it's exactly what he was asking us for, and actually a little bit more. So, really good deal. Like I said, engine conversion. That's got our new. That is our low profile billet elbow there, and 105 millimeter Wilson throttle body on that. So everything's real cool here. What I'm going to do is we're going to go out, we're going to make a pull. Now I do have this on pump gas right now. So like I said, he's going to drive this thing all over the place. Drive it to events, drive it cruising, doing whatever, shows and whatnot. So this thing is on pump gas right now, and then we'll have a race gas tune, and then we'll show you those numbers. So this first tune-up is going to be for pump gas, lower RPM, because like I said, 632. We have 83 millimeter turbos on it. We're not trying to make maximum amount of horsepower with this. This is kind of specific built for his donk. So I mean, it's all going to be pretty cool here. And let's go out. Let's make some hits on a dyno here, and I'll show you all the numbers. Alright, now let's take a look at the numbers. Now this is on pump gas. 93 octane from down the road. And let me zoom out here just a little bit. Apologize for being too close. There we go. And there we go. And I'll show you some of the Holley numbers here too. And so you can see kind of what's going on. As you can see here, now I had just a little bit of hiccup right there. And actually I think I'm going to go in and find that right there. I think I didn't hear it and didn't feel it. 90%, 95% of the time I can feel something either through the floor, through the handle, or you just feel it. If there's something hiccups or has something, I didn't feel anything. So might be a little glitch, but I'll go back into the Holley and see if I can find that in the Holley. In fact, I'll even show you that. It ain't a big deal. But you can see right through here, really nice. I mean, it's good. Now, this is pump gas, and we're at, and I'm not trying to make any more horsepower here. This is only 14.9, this is 15 pounds of boost right through here. That's all we're making. I ramp it up to that. You know, all the way down at 3,500, we're at 1,400 foot-pounds of torque at 7 pounds of boost, and that's on the wastegate. And I'll show you that in the Holly. You can see that kind of boost curve there real easy. So all these numbers right here, where it's 7 and climbing up to 8, is on the wastegate, and then it starts adding through the boost controller. And then we have 4,000 RPM, we're 1160 and 1523 torque. 4,500, we're 1363 and 1590 torque. That's still less than 10 pounds of boost. 5,000 RPM, 1576, 1656. 11 pounds of boost. 5,500, 1782, 1702, 12 pounds of boost. 6,000 or 1889 horsepower, 1653 boost. I'm sorry, torque, and 13 pounds of boost. And right here at 6,400 was our peak. Was at 1,929 horsepower, 1,582 foot-pounds torque at 14 pounds of boost. Now, why does it make that much horsepower? Because it's a big freaking motor. That's why it makes that much horsepower. So that's why we make big horsepower at lower RPM, smaller turbos. I mean, that's just the nature of that type of motor. So that's the nature of what we're trying to build for him, what he wanted to do anyway. So he didn't need a 10,000 RPM race motor for the car that is going in. This is what he wanted. So anyways, you can see, I mean, that's just really nice. It's obscenely large amounts of horsepower for that kind of car. It's going to have a really hard time hooking up with anything even remotely close to that. But you can see all the way right here at 7,000, you know, we're at 1911, 1434 at basically 15 pounds of boost. And that's on pump gas. So let me, we'll go back over here, and I'll shrink up the screen just a little bit, and we'll move the dog, LA dog, and we'll go down to the Holly here, and you can see the data log. And so a lot of times I usually don't mind showing people numbers, like you know, AFR numbers, timing numbers, that kind of stuff. And I always tell my customers what they have, because they need to know what it is that makes it run best. But every time, sometimes you put stuff up there and haters gotta hate, they gotta do something to complain about. So I'm not giving them anything to complain about. You can see right through here, the red is RPM, green is TPS, and I just hit the zoom button. But you can see right through here, it comes up nice. AFRs are nice and tight, both sides of it. Boost is still at 14 pounds. That's the boost curve right through there. There we go. You can see there you go. You can see right there where the cursor is. That's where it's just riding on the wastegate spring. And then that's where the boost controller starts working through there. So the Holly boost controller is really a pretty nice piece. Now, we always use it in a 90% of the time I use it in, actually probably more than that, 99% of the time I use it with dome pressure control. So we're always just controlling dome pressure and not really referencing it to the actual manifold pressure. Not a big deal. I don't care how you want to do it, but it takes a little more work to figure out how to get it to use the map sensor along with the dome pressure sensor. But anyways, as you can see, really nice piece. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come into it. We're actually going to retorque the heads, make sure everything is all cool, and then we're going to put some race fuel in it and turn it up a little bit. Don't want, you know, because it's a conventional head with well, it's a conventional Pro 1 head, so we're starting to push things a little bit. I really don't want to make a whole lot more than 2,000, you know, 2,000 plus, but we can make more if we want to lean on it harder, but that's not what this is really designed for. So anyways, we're going to go in there, we'll make another pull on this thing, and then I'll come back and I'll show you those numbers with race gas. Now again, this is, I just swapped this over to race gas, but I'm still this is you know, converting his engine over to a good turbocharged piece. Can we make more horsepower? Yeah, I can make more horsepower, but this entire platform is not made to make 2,500 plus horsepower. I'm trying to keep this into a good, reasonable thing. Like I said, this thing just still has a cast Dart Pro 1 head on. So let's take a look at numbers. Now this is just with some C16 fuel and just a little bit more boost. Nothing too big, and a nice, safe tune for Jamal. Now let's take a look at this here. Like you see, you know, good broad flat torque curve. This thing makes you know, a peak torque of, oh, let's see, where are we at? Peak torque at 6,200 RPM right there, 1,868 foot-pounds of torque at 20 pounds of boost. And our peak horsepower is 2299, so that'd be 2,300 horsepower. And I'm only running this up, you know, to I'm kind of leveling it off because it starts running out of turbo, and it's a 632. So it's not the ideal combination that we build for specific turbo, but we used what he had. We built it to the best that we could with a good, safe, reliable type horsepower, and that's a really nice, sweet spot for this thing on race gas. I mean, you're talking 2,300 horsepower and something that's probably got like a 24 or 26 inch wheel on it. You know, I mean, pretty outrageous, pretty cool piece, and still something that he can drive down the road doing just about anything that he wants. So I mean, 2299. It's 2,300 horsepower, and like I said, we can make more. We could turn the boost up more and pretty easily make in that 2,500 horsepower range, but I really feel nice and safe at this power level, and feel good about it. Everything's cool. Real happy with that. So anyways, like I said, that's on race gas, C16, and I think that's going to be a pretty cool deal when this is in the car, and going to make people really shake their head sometimes and see what this thing's doing. Anyways, I'm Steve Morris, Steve Morris Engines. Have a great day.